And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, we have returned with the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up with our first best of 5 between Shin and Raynor. Now we have our second best of 5 between ByuN and Trigger, a PvT. And it's going to be a banger of a series here. ByuN has showcased some very intense and very impressive TvP over the past couple of months, specifically showcasing his prowess in the mid and late game in the Terran vs Protoss matchup with his insane ghost control at EMP micro as well. Meanwhile, we do know that Trigger as well has also been rising through the ranks over the past year of play, has risen to the ranks of now being the best player in the Americas, surpassing that of Australia, and has also spent the past year in Korea. He's been in Korea the entire time, has been practicing, has been improving, and show us, oh, as we are jumping right into the game. Once again, no vetoes? What?
Oh my god, I'm so hyped. I really hope that game was insane. I literally can't even believe how good that game was.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm very
but here we go. Spawning in the top left hand corner, we have Trigger for Basilisk, and in the bottom right we have ByuN for Shopify.
Top left, ByuN on the bottom right. I'm very curious.
And if you're in the chat, you know what's happened is it is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat.
Closely in the same bracket or same tournament. How much do they shuffle up? What do they...
I did mention earlier that I was excited to see ByuN and Trigger tonight because they don't have another event scheduled and conflicting with this. But the fact that we did not get a revelation of the map order and the vetoes at the start of the series, and we don't have in-game player cams, leads me to believe that it's a little bit of a shame because I don't think that we're clashing with anything. It would have been nice to have had them here with us. To watch the cams back. You watch the cams.
Of a few different types to throw out to the Patreon voters to vote for, and so yeah, I feel like this season we've had some pretty solid additions. The maps have been good, and the games on them have been pretty interesting too. Last season we didn't get to see as many of them, but this time I think we're getting a lot more picks for some of these maps, and so yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see them.
Okay, so you know, we've got this first probe out here. Terran, excuse me, is saving up for the 400 minerals to make the command center.
Welcome one all to Centopath. Centopath is a very interesting map in the map pool. Fun fact, this is one of the TLMC 21 maps, which honestly is a lot of fun. It is a very open expansion, sorry, very open map with an open 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th expansion. Very open. One of, if not the most open map in the map pool that I've seen in a very long time. I was actually
actually no, it's gonna be a straight. Okay, I was thinking about this.
Marauder Rush, okay.
Kind of weird. It's a little too early. Yeah, it's gonna be a Marauder concussive opener out of ByuN.
Oh,
very unorthodox.
This is very unusual. I don't think I've seen this before.
This happens like every now and then. Like the Terrans just kind of randomly rotate this build in. I'm always curious why, because I feel like it almost never does anything. Like I feel like it's very hard to get damage.
Does he just rush with this?
What? What am
Third
I
CC before factory. Let's go.
Well, we have the ninja base.
He's going 3 CC 3 racks, which ByuN is known for.
Unreasonably fast.
So I guess you just pressure with the Marauders.
So, for those that are curious, we see a second Rax. We should be seeing a third Rax behind this as well. ByuN very commonly does this on large maps, and as I mentioned before, this is one of those maps which is very large, very open as well. So ByuN is cutting a lot of corners here, and this will get out of hand in the mid game once he's able to embrace and take advantage of the third base.
I like the idea of this build coming out from ByuN, because what it looks like is it looks like these really aggressive Marauder plays where they sometimes go for just an early poke and then go into a 3 racks follow-up or whatever. And so from the front, this doesn't really look that weird or different from Trigger.
Nice
He's
catch.
Played against this before. He knows what it is. It's kind of strange. It's kind of unfortunate that he's losing both these adepts. It's actually another nice play by ByuN to kind of bait that in and then was waiting on the outside with it. But this looks like a standard play that he's seen before, but he's got that fast third base just hidden really quickly. Trigger should never expect that to be coming at this time. And you saw because he didn't even try to scout for it.
So Trigger,
it's not even really hidden. It's right next to his net. I mean, that would be.
But it's winding it back a little bit here. Trigger, he should expect that if he is familiar with ByuN, because ByuN is known for this kind of play. Trigger is responding with extra gateways, so he does throw down 2 more gateways. Blink is on the way. Rover's on the way. Trigger, if he responds and reacts with aggression, then Trigger may be able to punish ByuN. Remember, this is very greedy from ByuN because of the build of choice, late factory production, which means no tank setup, for example. The defensive setup is very minimal for ByuN, so he is vulnerable, and we'll see what Trigger can get done. We'll see if he moves out with a War Prism first.
And it's not actually at the base yet. You still have to wait and float it over there. This is so early, and it's just right on position, so he's able to get the...
Here comes that Prism. Here comes Trigger. 4-gate Blink Stalker. Hyper aggression.
When you see a fast Marauder
and this is one of the ways to punish ByuN.
It feels like as a Protoss, it's pretty easy to defend that initially, and then just go into what Trigger is doing right now, which is going to just be a 4-gate Blink Prism attack, and you should be able to basically control the mid game and be able to even punish them if they're out of position. And so at this point, ByuN, he's going to have to make sure he can get everything together. Stim is finishing perfectly on time, so that will help a lot. But if these bunkers don't get up, it's going to be really hard for him.
Does he check the third?
So, I mean, Trigger's going to do this attack here. He has
Does he check the third?
Across the map. You could just die as Terran
the bunker.
That's completely possible.
Oh.
Okay, he actually does get the bunker up.
Does
he
finish?
have a bunker in the main?
I don't think he does. Which is, again, the scary part. Now
with the help of the War Prism, he can get into the main base as well. He can rotate.
Have too many units as ByuN. I feel like, I guess he does kind of, he hasn't been able to get kind of a decent amount, actually. But unfortunately, just this one bunker, I don't think Trigger realizes that there's nothing really in the main base. That would really be nice to get a blink up in there just to see what's going on. It's very risky to blink up when you know your opponent has Stim, though, because then you're so committed. So I think Trigger's just taking it the safe route and just will continually chip away in there just to see what's going on. It's very risky.
Oh. Who is it? No! The clean feed is dirty. Stay with us.
Opponent has Stim, though.
Oh, as it looks like
taking it the safe.
Yeah, it looks like the mainstream is dying a little bit here.
I mean, he's not really getting that much done. He's killed 7 SCVs, but does that matter if you took a third base so fast?
Okay, they're back.
Yeah, I guess we're going to get the scan just to make sure this Observer does get killed off, which is nice.
Snipe the Observer. Now, what's crucial here is that, yes, Trigger's getting damaged, but he has not been able to spot and deny and punish the third base yet.
To try and one-shot some SCVs or some Marines, we'll be able to do so, blink on back, and just get on out of there, and just try to manipulate the Terran as much as Trigger can to get more SCVs at the front. Because, again, this looks by him to be pretty good damage. Like, he's killed quite a lot of SCVs. He's really not lost any of his Stalkers, and he's got his third base coming back at home. But he has no idea that we have a third base literally right next to this attack.
Yeah, this is painful to watch because there's this naked, exposed base, like one screen over, and he doesn't know. It's Hidden Base Day, guys.
Yeah, that's
Happy
insane.
Hidden Base Day. Happy Hidden Base Day, everybody.
Didn't you guys know?
Yeah.
No one got the memo,
You probably, when you watch this on camera, you go, they're matching in their clothes. I go, yeah, it's Hidden Base Day. Of course, we dressed up. So, I mean, it's just such a tragedy to see a rush like that could absolutely punish what ByuN's doing, and it's not going to go punish because Trigger hasn't even factored it in as a possibility.
I love it. It's hidden in plain sight. Like, why would you check there at this point? There's no reason for this base to be here. Is he? No, he's still not even going.
Right there.
He's still not even looking. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I can't believe we're getting this 2 series in a row. This makes no sense. All right, Prism back in the main base, trying to get, again, more SCVs. This time with charge lots instead. We'll be able to trade out a little bit more efficiently, but unfortunately, not paying attention.
It makes no sense if you don't watch much ByuN, I guess. I mean. The hidden place play for Rainer series was crazy, for sure. That was crazy. That was wild. Here again, ByuN is known for this. Oh, that's a healing pad?
Get much of anything.
I didn't even know.
Get some worker kills, that's fine, but
that's a healing pad. That's crazy.
Vastly miscalculated what kind of game he's in right now.
Oh my God.
You know, he still hasn't checked that, but it's crazy, man. So, Trigger is just, he doesn't know what kind of game
now, because the third base is beginning up and running uncontested, ByuN, he will be able to saturate the third base. He has a higher worker count, and ByuN will be able to excel in the army supply soon. Soon he'll just boost ahead when it comes to army, when it comes to the quality as well. Ghost Academy's on the way, getting to the rest of his upgrades, getting ready for those EMPs.
Oh my God, this is going to be painful. He's like, oh. Now, if he clicks in the minerals, he's going to go, oh, God.
Yeah, I wonder actually if he even realized. Because, like, technically the third could be down at this time.
Yeah.
And it's not that weird.
Having a third base now is fine. But the thing is, that third base was there in the first couple minutes of the game. So that's what I'm most interested in. So, he's going to try to come in here and hit. I mean, this is a pretty good angle with the Zealots.
This is actually not bad. It's a pretty good surround coming in from Trigger. A lot of his zealots coming in from the back, though, a bit late. We'll be late to the party here and unable to do anything. We have
Did we have a crash here?
some kind of a freeze.
Is the game crashed on your end, Ziggy? Okay.
Oh,
that's good.
hello.
That's always a good sign. All right, so
And the game's over.
All right.
Hey,
Okay, well, who won that? I didn't actually.
Trigger.
Trigger.
Trigger
Okay.
just
I know if
walked
you-
in and won.
I don't know if you noticed, but their audio is desynced right now, so it looks like there's some technical issues on their end. It looks like it wasn't just their internet that was lagging, but it looks like their feed to Maple, the observer, was also lagging as well. So there was just like layers upon layers of technical issues on their side. I will see if I can
Don't say that. Could happen.
fix some stuff up here as best we can. But GG well played. So again, ByuN, he was building up into his 3 bases. It looks like Trigger was able to strike just before the Ghost. The Ghost Academy was done, but it looks like the Ghost production was still on the way, and Trigger, he was able to strike just before those Ghosts got up and running. And this is also partially because of the map. If you remember, if you recall, what you were saying leading into that first game is how open this map is. It's actually quite difficult to be the defending player at your 3rd, 4th, and 5th location. This is where I wish like we could have control of the camera for a moment, because I need to emphasize that on center path, on the map that they just played on, it is insanely difficult to defend, to be the defensive player on that 4 and 5 and 6 base setup. Like, the bases are so much more vulnerable. Basically, the ramps leading to the bases are further out. The ramps are very, very far out. So actually, the aggressing player can get up the ramp, get onto the same point of elevation, get a concave going, and then attack into the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th expansion. All those bases are so exposed on that map. It's crazy. So it's so hard to be that defender. But here we go. We're getting into our next game.
Another newer map that we've got voted in here by our beautiful, wonderful Patreons. Patrons, not Patreons. That's they're patrons. Yeah, there we go.
Patreon support.
They're Patreon supporters.
Yes.
They're patrons. Yeah.
They're patrons of the Patreon. So we have an SCV out very early. Is this just a scout, or is he going to make something? eBay block.
Surely,
okay.
I believe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Look at Trigger. He's so afraid of something.
Is the Chijik tournament going on right now?
He's got a probe moving down here.
Is that why?
We'll see if he also hides a pylon. That's a possibility as well.
Classic did do that on this map at one point, I believe, last season, so that's technically a possibility.
So eBay block out of ByuN. Now, if you remember, something I was saying, I was trying to figure out why ByuN and Trigger are playing from replays, because they aren't in Masters of the game. I think, am I crazy? The Chijik tournament. I believe the Chijik event is on right now, and that's what ByuN is playing in.
I think he's
because
making sure these games go a little bit longer. He will just
he's playing in the Chijik tournament. That's so unfortunate.
As the response, that is something that you can do. And on this map, it's interesting because it is still on a high ground position, which is
we'll get into it later
for some of these maps.
But basically, there's a StarCraft Evolution tournament going on right now, and I got tipped off because I just went in game because I was curious because I saw that ByuN was in a different custom game. He's being casted by Leonok right now. But yeah, I just saw that ByuN, he was playing with Rumiath, so he's currently mid-series versus Rumiath in StarCraft Evolution. So that's the event that was clashing. Smurge.
Quickly, or Phoenix is to lift them up. So that's generally how this has worked. In the recent couple months or so, it's not been the case with the new shield battery.
But that's why we didn't get the vetoes, and that's why we don't get the player cams.
For the sentries and whatnot, makes it still pretty okay to defend these types of things. So we'll see what Trigger's idea is with this, going for double stalker for now, just to try and kill as many things as possible that might come across, and still go into that blink anyways.
So when it comes to what they're getting into here, they were just touching on the initial opener of Trigger. He is forced to take the unnatural. It can be very difficult to defend. Welcome to Kill Switch. Kill Switch is a map that we've casted on plenty of times in the past. It's a TLMC 20 map, and Kill Switch is known for aggression, is known for all-ins. The rushes and spike round on this map is very short, and the bases are a little more accessible as well. So it's going to be a tough hold. Like, you can even see it here. Imagine ByuN going for a 2-base all-in, a tank-based 2-base all-in. He gets up the tanks to hit this mineral line from the low ground. Like, that base is not safe. So ByuN has the option to be hyper aggressive here. We'll see if he will go for that. ByuN, he's also known for being the most macro oriented player right now. I should say Korean Terran. He's the most macro oriented Terran player out of all the Terrans out there, more so than Clem, more so than Maru. So ByuN, he's less prone to all in. We'll see if he takes the bait.
Get that watchtower in his well, which is a pretty wild thing when you.
And yes, there is a watchtower in the main. There's so much to talk about when it comes to kill switch.
Map feature.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. Looks like he's going to get one probe kill here with this Reaper. That is, quickly falling off in value here for what it can do. We're going to have a Widow Mine drop coming in here. 2 probes killed overall, by the way.
Yeah, not too bad. We'll be able to get the scout that this third base is over here too, but it's unfortunate that he can't really dive too deep to get the confirmation, but I feel like everyone knows at this point you're just going blink. Like, there's no real thing to be scouting. You're not going to be going for Stargate.
We have 2 more gates on the way.
Can just kind of assume that we'll be the blink.
ByuN's going to be dropping in. At the same time, he's also opening up the Zelnaga tower as well. Both players are.
There are a couple slow zones here as well, though, so that's going to kind of slow this down just a little bit and give Trigger just that much more time.
Trigger's also online on
Twitch.
Twitch.
See if he is paying attention, and wow, that is just
I mean, that'll do it.
Stalker warp in response I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is full prepreration for
I mean, I was looking for the reason why they were playing via replays. But you know what? Maybe that's Trigger's reason. Maybe he's like, you know what? I got an Osu session, okay? I can't skip out on it. I can't skip out on that Osu. Understandable. Este Trigger.
I would imagine that some of this game is going to look like the last game. Obviously, without ByuN's hidden base that he's never spotted. But other than that, kind of the same thing.
He's like Raynor. Raynor, he had to get into that rift.
Yep, the Widow Mine's going to try to come back in, but it is, just perfectly timed here. And again, Trigger perfectly aware. Unfortunately, he pulls that a little bit too far. Almost killed a bunch more with the splash, but only 2 is not bad. But the Raven coming in with the auto turret to continue that pylon damage is not too bad. This is really straining the multitasking of Trigger a little bit. But at this point now, the Blink Stalkers are ready at the front of the base. Tank in a nice position, though, to be very safe from any frontal pushes, but still dish out the damage. But the aggression will.
Bearing in mind, this is still 4-gate Blink Stalkers. A Trigger, he's delaying his third base in favor of this. Can he go for the dive?
Onto that tank if it's available.
Tank sieges?
Doesn't quite go for it.
Can he? Oh my God! He can't quite get the bunker done. It repaired in time. That sucks.
Yeah.
Now he's going to blink up into the main. This tank is exactly where it should be. That's a very difficult tank to actually get to. He might not even try to do it. Yeah, he's going to back up.
Yeah, I love these positions of the buildings as well. This has become so common.
ByuN holds across map, 2 probes going down.
It's very difficult to just blink right on into the main base and get the targets onto the tanks. So I like how Trigger did that, just putting 4 up there just to test the water, so that way he can just immediately lift them all up in the prism without losing anything. Oh my God, please don't. Okay. I was going to say, if he lost all that, that would have been very embarrassing, but thankfully
quite bad.
paying attention, so we'll be able to do that. Totally fine. Whoa.
Wow, that was ambitious. He did get that SCV there. Trigger's now taking his third base, where the eBay block was at the start of the game. More gateways are going to come down here. And, Terran's basically sitting back and macroing. We're getting the combat shields upgrade. And, as far as Trigger's concerned, he's just filling in the rest of his tech.
This is still a pretty good position from ByuN, though, I would say. He was able to get a pretty good amount of damage overall. It felt like little tiny bits of damage when you were looking at it, but it all kind of added up. A lot of probes were able to get killed off, and on the backside, he wasn't really losing many SCVs.
Oh, God.
Extension from Trigger. A bit sloppy on that disengage, unfortunately losing a few more Stalkers than he wanted. And again, the turret coming back. Thankfully, that shield battery is in position, but not able to save a few more of them. So that's going to be, again, a couple more workers down. I think that's 10 in total that have died so far, whereas Trigger has not really killed many SCVs at all, I think, this game. So a nice defense with just little tiny bits of harass from ByuN to put himself in a pretty decent economic position.
So, I'm a little worried here for Trigger. Like, the army from ByuN is massive.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to hit like a ton of bricks here. I don't know. Now, I think the idea is
nice Zella drop.
good here.
Ooh, the prism goes down.
But the Widow Mines take it out. And
does get a second tank.
Going to be enough to slow down.
Hey, that's 2 tanks going down. Not a bad run by.
ByuN doesn't get much done with the push. That's going to be bad.
But here comes the move out. And we spoke earlier how exposed these bases are for Trigger, how difficult it's going to be to defend, especially without splash damage. Remember, he has no Storm. He's still working towards a Colossus. ByuN has potential. We'll see what he does with that potential.
We don't mind shots with the Zealots getting picked up or anything. Again, this Raven coming back in again. God, how much damage is this thing going to do? It's absolutely ridiculous. ByuN, if he gets caught in the slow zone, could be very awkward. Luckily for him, the Zealots weren't ready, nor were the sentries for any force fields. So we'll keep those alive for now. But this army, like you said, is just so large at at this point. No upgrades either for Trigger on these gateway units, and he's supply blocked on this Colossus, so that's going to be a ways out. Could easily get sniped.
Nice force
need
fields.
to be perfect, and they will be good for now, but that's all the energy at this point. He's going to need to recharge one of those sentries to be able to keep this Robo alive once these force fields die out, but now the Zealot flank is going to come in.
Oh, he gets up.
Yeah, the Zealot flank is going to be pretty good.
He's going in.
It's too bad that he bled off a bunch of those Zealots earlier.
Yeah, nice kiting there by ByuN.
Can he just power through this?
There's just not enough support for the Protoss.
Stalkers don't have anywhere safe to blink to.
Not enough support for Trigger. The Colossus is going to be denied.
GG. There you have it.
A nice, solid game from ByuN. Like I said, just very little bits of harass here and there, getting just little bits of damage. 2 probes there, 2 probes here, ending up adding up.
Yeah.
While Trigger was going for something quite aggressive. When you're going for a 4-gate blink attack, it's not as economic as the 3-gate or the 2-gate, where you can just pick off like 2 or 3 SCVs and be fine. If you're going for a full 4 gateways, you need to still do damage, especially if you're losing 10 probes to Raven and Widowmine harass at the same time.
Yeah.
And that just didn't really happen, and ByuN was able to scale up pretty fine because of that.
Yeah, beautifully done. We're going to take a short little break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5, currently tied up 1-1.
Looks like they're cutting to a break. But yes, just I guess echoing what Gemini said, as he mentioned, it wasn't just the damage that ByuN was dealing in the early game and forcing the more awkward position, but more importantly, it was also because Trigger did decide to play 4-gate blink 2 games in a row, and he did not do enough damage, right? So you're putting yourself behind when you go for a build like that. That's why Trigger's 3rd base was so late. That's why Trigger's Colossus was so late as well, because he dedicated so much to 4-gate blink, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it in the end. He did not do enough damage. With that, GG, well played. With that, we are getting into our next game, or into the remainder of the series. Going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have the second half of the final best of 5. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon.
This time.
Yep, no
3-0.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, we have returned with our final series of this broadcast with Trigger versus ByuN. We are mid-series. First 2 games are in the bag, and we'll see where this leads us. As again, we're not quite privy to the vetoes. Unfortunately, we don't really know the map order ahead of us. We'll soon all discover the 3rd map together here. When it comes to the first 2 games, a lot of it was very map dependent. Game 1, we saw ByuN struggle. I mean, he got away with his opener, but he struggled to defend against the aggression from Trigger. Again, very difficult to defend on Cenotaph. Meanwhile, we do have game 2 where Killswitch, favored and known for aggression, and ByuN was able to just snowball out of control, able to punish the failed aggression of Trigger and just take it from there. Up next, again, a lot of it will be, at least in my mind, is going to be map dependent, so we'll see what map we load into, then we can kind of judge and figure out where we do head, where it does lead. I mentioned before that ByuN, he's known for his mid game, is known for his mid to late game as well in this matchup, but we'll see if we can get there as we're going to be jumping into Maganatha. Let's go!
Someone is going to get eliminated here.
Jumping in.
No.
The tournament?
They're gone.
They're gone.
It's
I'll have to wait till season 3 of
But it's
RSL.
going to hurt their feelings if they can't play anymore.
Oh, they're going to be hurt. People get hurt in these tournaments, all right?
We're going to bring them out back and punch
That's
them
right,
in the
yeah.
That series sucks!
No, I mean, it's elimination time, man. It's a grueling losers bracket. ByuN, I think, played a much more straightforward game, by the way, in game 2.
Yeah. No, it was very solid. It was just like, just a straight up normal build. The eBay block was enough to pull Trigger to make him feel really awkward, and then you just have the back and forth Raven and Widowmine harass. Considering the fact that he went for that forward 3rd base, much more difficult to defend the different sides with all that harassment, and was just solid on the defense and just felt really good out of ByuN. This time he's gonna go being
well. Considering how insane game 1 was.
Oh yeah.
with sort of like game 1, I'm like, are we gonna have this every game? Is this just like a totally new way that the matchup works?
Yeah. It's going to be a double gas opener this time from ByuN. So again, we'll be switching it up. 3 games, 3 different styles. So we'll see what he's going to have in store for us this time. We'll see if it's going to be super aggressive or it's just going to be a simple Reaper Hellion into expand, and then maybe like a Widowmine dropper or Ravens or something like that. Usually is the play.
All right, so
As I kind of alluding to, with a double gas opener, ByuN has a lot of options. He has a lot of options here, going for early Cyclone, early drop, Reaper Hellion, Hellion drop as well. Like, there are options for ByuN, so our eyes are mainly on the Terran player. If you've been watching ByuN as of late, ooh, Reacted Reaper.
Whoa. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
What?
It's double Reaper, which is what I said was going to happen, but for some reason I was
That's so funny. You
I'm
said
sorry.
it, and then it happened. You're like, oh, this is crazy.
I don't know what just happened. My brain just like zoned out. I like forgot the last 30 seconds of what I already said. My bad. That's so funny.
So yeah, he's gonna have 2 Reapers, and then the Hellion's gonna come out. Terran's just throwing the command
So
center.
the goal of Reacted Reaper Hellion is to get early game economic damage. It's to bust into the mineral line, is to wreak havoc and get probe kills. Ideally,
He didn't actually scout across the map.
does want to get probe
scouted
kills.
his side of the map for any proxies, and then just went right back home. So he's just playing.
Meanwhile, every game so far in this series, Trigger has gone for 4 Gatling Stalker. He shouldn't be doing it here, but we'll see if the trend continues.
So Trigger just kind of covering all of his bases, playing really solidly, doing no corner cuts essentially in his builds, just making sure everything is as clean as can be. And it should be working out pretty well for him, assuming that he is well positioned, of course, with all of his units and doesn't let those Reapers and Hellions too close to an unguarded mineral line.
Okay. We've got the 2 Reapers and the Hellion just trying to clean up this Adept. And this Adept is not going to get away. 2 more Reapers and 2 Hellions. It's a glitch.
Someone get Tasteless the cough button.
Come right out here.
I noticed it for the past 2 days now of RSL.
Kind of an even spread
God damn it.
There's 1 Stalker there.
Every time he's coughing into the mic.
This very often. This is interesting. Okay, so he's going to come in.
Right, let's go. He's diving into the mineral line. He's going for the main.
Main, I guess. Yeah.
He's just going to bypass the battery,
He's
just
like,
kind
I
of
want the
run
Stalker.
on
Oh,
in.
guess the Stalker.
Not the one in the natural.
We'll be able to kill 1 of those, and then go on to the probes after that. We'll be able to get a few of them. Since there's so many Reapers, you can kind of just ignore the Stalker damage for now and just YOLO them onto the probes. A total of 5 going to be killed off here, unless he can maybe wrap around and get that last one. No, he's going to try to keep it alive. He loses it in the end, but 5 probes getting killed off is not bad, I would say. It's not like insane, because obviously you suicide everything.
Yeah, you did lose a lot of units doing that. I never quite seen that little maneuver. That's very cute.
Yeah, he sees the battery in the natural, and he's like, well, I'm not going to be able to damage it out, like out-damage it. So he just YOLOs into the main base, assuming that there's not going to be any units on the ramp, and was right in that assumption.
So behind this, we're going to be getting into the mid-game. We do have a Cloak Banshee follow-up here for ByuN. We do have the Robo before the 3rd base, so Trigger's playing safe, and Trigger, he should have detection to deal with these Cloak Banshees.
Interesting that ByuN's kind of, approaching the game with a lot of novel ideas so far in this series. So we have tanks and Banshees coming here. Cloak is on the way, and we'll see how prepared Trigger's going to be for this. Cloak is going to basically finish like right when the Observer could come out, but it'll really depend on where the Observer's positioned.
Yeah, the first Banshee's going to be coming in. I wonder if he's going to wait with it or if he's going to go in. I would be amazed, actually, if he went in right now, considering Cloak is very close to being finished here. And we'll obviously see if Trigger leaves the Observer home or if he's going to send it across. I feel like Cloak Banshees in general have become a bit more popular in the matchup in the last month or so. I feel like I've been seeing them just more and more often, but looks like Trigger is just going to be sending it across with the Stalker, so not anticipating this type of a follow-up from ByuN. The Cloaked is finished. We'll be sending that in right away. No battery in the main base, I believe, so that should be an empty mineral line. And these
going to get some damage. Let's go.
Off very quickly. You see the Panic warp in the main base, but there's no Observer. Got to recall that back. We'll be able to do just that, and that's going to be 5 or more extra probes killed off by the first Banshee alone. And I think there's another one actually in the 3rd base killing more probes as well. Yes, it is.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Nice.
I was wondering why the Banshee stopped moving. I'm like, what? Did he like misclick that badly?
It gets away. Oh, that's so brutal.
God, he got away with the crime. Stim has started to be researched. Oh,
nice snipe.
That's diligent from Trigger, actually, to chase it that far. I feel like most players would have just ran back home and just been like, oh, crap, I can't get it at this point. That's actually pretty smart, because I think he realized how much energy was left on it. He was that attentive to realize that it was actually going to run out in time. That's actually very... it's not huge, but it's actually kind of a cool thing to notice that he was paying attention to that. So we'll be able to kill off that Banshee as it's trying to get sent back home on the map. Now, that does allow Trigger to be a bit more aggressive. Since he has killed both Banshees, that does free up a lot of that space, so he doesn't actually have to leave any of his Stalkers home. So that is a big play in the end, to be able to kill both of them off. So feeling probably good, despite the fact that he did lose quite a few workers on the back end.
Okay, it's going to be time to push
I'm listening
out
to
here. It looks like this push is engineered to hit right when Stim finishes. He's got to be careful, though, because there's stalkers right out here. Okay, Trigger backs up.
All right, this is going to be very strong timing here by ByuN. ByuN is building up to Stim, +1, and combat shield, so from here he can move out. The Banshees were lackluster. I will say that. They got some damage done, but both Banshees got sniped, so the Reaper Hellion was a little bit lackluster as well. So Trigger, he has been holding his own, and he's here to slow down the push.
Probably finishing in the next couple seconds.
Dude, good zoning by Trigger.
Oh, don't go the ramp.
Ran into the tanks.
I was about to say, like, wow, he even like backed out before.
He face checked.
Tank siege. I'm like, it's pretty perfect. And then he just walked in there and got shot.
There's CC. Building up into the mid
so we
game.
have the third CC started, but
this is still a strong timing from ByuN, so he still has potential to deal damage with this. But thankfully, this time there's a Colossus. Two Colossus.
Well, this time. So unlike that other game where we had the Colossus being supply blocked for all eternity and wasn't even able to get out because then the Robo got sniped, this time we will have 2 Colossi on the defense, and Trigger was able to ramp up in supply pretty heavily in the last 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so. So at first it looked like he might get overrun, but now he's going to have a solid army to meet ByuN on the map, kill off the tanks, kill off the Widow Mines, and will be able to take a nice engagement and keep ByuN away from his side of the map.
Yeah, very nice fight. Shuts down the tanks. We'll take a mine shot to the face. Has some careful to overextend, but the Colossus so far, they have free reign. Remember, no Vikings. Right now, no Vikings for ByuN, so the Colossus, they can just keep pushing forward.
He's got a War Prism. Can he go all the way back to ByuN's base and just, come in here and hit? I imagined in my head this is going to be Protoss defending a Terran push. It's completely been turned on its head.
Yeah, the fact that he killed off all the tanks and mines in the middle of the map means that he's rightfully assuming there's not going to be any tanks back at home.
Does lose
nice
one.
micro, though, from ByuN to snipe one of those Colossi.
Yeah, that should not have happened.
Trigger, not quite close enough from the Prism to juggle it. So that's really going to hemorrhage this push, not allow him to actually go as far as he probably wanted to, because he was trying to abuse the fact that he killed off all those tanks earlier, meaning it was just going to be Bio on the defense. But now there's really nothing he can do. It's going to be very risky to go any further. Has to back up.
And I mean, you know, the reality is, even if you don't kill Terran here, excuse me.
Oh my god.
If Terran doesn't have a third
Someone gets Hasus a glass of water, Pappy.
Move out again.
He's been dying the entire cast.
Keep poking in.
So
there's going to be a small drop here.
Get him some water.
Just throwing some
hydrate,
Pappy,
in here. Hydrate.
And this is going to be paired with movement on the map from Trigger towards where this third base is.
You can even see ByuN is just already bringing the third base back. He realizes the move that Trigger's going for. He's like, no, I cannot get this third base right now. I need to make sure this Prism is dead first, get the Viking on it, kill that off, and then reallocate everything in the front.
Yeah, no recall there.
Yeah, maybe just thought it was going to die just anyways.
Just make another one. It's you know, maybe it's more important to have a recall later for the fight. I don't know. Fourth base coming down.
Send him some cough drops.
Now, let's remember that you know, generally speaking,
make this man some tea with honey.
Issue in the meta here with this match. Where the longer the game goes on, the easier it gets for Protoss, as long as they just
Ziggy, get on it.
Adding in different types of splash damage.
Yeah, once you can actually get the Colossus and then the Templar as well is when you really start to feel the power of...
from here, Trigger, he does have momentum. Again, he was able to take a better fight, able to shut down the tanks. ByuN is contained back at home, so he's slowly getting a third base up and running, and Trigger has map control. With that map control, Trigger can go for faster expansions and be the first to max out as well. So we have a back and forth. We're getting into the mid game.
You can already see that ByuN went for the fast Ghost transition as well. He's got plenty of them out already. Realizing, though, that it is going to be mostly Colossi, still going into the Vikings as well to make sure. Because that's a 4 Colossus army, actually. That's more than what you'd normally see. Generally, you stop at 3. But at this point, he's trying to maybe bait ByuN into maybe going too far into Ghosts and not actually responding correctly with enough Vikings.
Okay, another scan here. And Protoss continues to grow. Trigger right now at about 183 supply. ByuN cooking at 170 now. And we're getting to the point where it's going to be a boiling point for this match, where, you know, Protoss can keep growing. Trigger seems to be more willing to just kind of try to attack in.
Well, remember, Trigger, he's up to 4 Colossus. The Viking count is still very low. It's like 1-to-1. There's 5 Vikings against 4 Colossus, so Trigger, he can collapse in. He's pushing a little bit too prematurely, but there we go. The boys are being pulled, and Trigger, can he break him here and now?
It's a little bit of a fractured attack.
He's sending it. The Colossus a little bit too far back.
Really nice surround. Oh my god. I don't know that ByuN can handle this much damage.
There are 4
a lot of
Colossus
EMPs, though, on the Zealots, but unfortunately, they're just not really dying quick enough. But the Vikings will be able
Can
to
he
kill
do
off a
it?
few of these Colossus, assuming
One
they actually
Colossus
focus
goes
fire, but
down.
they're really spreading their damage
He only gets
over
one.
all of them at the same time. So that means almost
gets
none of
two.
them get killed off.
Get died off.
Get died off. I almost
As
said
they
it's
say.
true.
I mean, that was brutal. You know, it's funny because, like, yeah, the Vikings are going to kill the Colossus, but the Colossus has already killed all the infantry. By the time that's done, it's over. Kind of a weird game. It was sort of just ByuN kind of sitting there, and eventually he died. Never really had his moment. I thought he was going to hit with that push, but
So, winding it back, I think State is, sorry, Gemini. They're both the same in my mind. I think Gemini is going to touch on it right now. But basically, winding it back, remember, it all came down to that first move out when ByuN got caught with his pants down in the center of the map. When he lost his tanks, when he lost his Widow Mines, he missed his timing. Remember, he was building up towards a stim and +1 timing, and he failed to get anything done with it because he got shut down prematurely. It was also more important for him to do damage there because if you remember at the time, we were talking about how little damage he had dealt with the Banshee and the Reaper Hellion, right? He had not done enough damage to justify teching and investing into those units early on, so he had to have his timing actually make up for that. He got shut down and he lost all the momentum. It allowed Trigger to gain map control, get the faster 4th base, have the better economy, and be the first player to max out. We saw that ByuN was working on that Viking transition, but if you remember, Trigger, he hit just as ByuN only had 5 Vikings versus 4 Hellions. That's why those 4 Hellions did so much damage. It's why they popped off, because, hey, the Viking count was low. I think a lot of people, they look at PvT nowadays and they're like, yo, you know, Storms, they're crazy, pappy, right? True, but because of the Storm meta, a lot of Terran players have been going into earlier Ghost production and have been foregoing and at times delaying their Vikings, anticipating Ghosts. It does allow you to go into these earlier and more heavy Colossus-based play, Colossus-based build to catch your opponent off guard, because, hey, ByuN, he had Ghosts, he had EMPs, didn't matter. Not against the Colossus, pappy. Aye.
It was very focused on the Templar play from Trigger, and so I think he's
so Trigger, he's one game away from claiming the series.
Catch ByuN off guard.
What a
way,
mess,
like
papi,
I was
what a
kind
mess.
of alluding to as well. So I like the change-ups overall in the matchup from both of the players trying into these different games to make it so it's not just a carbon copy of their group stage match.
Okay, I mean, the scouting probe is going to come down here across the map.
Welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, more defensive as well. We're expecting a longer game on this map.
Powered up, and eventually the Protoss was too big and came in there and killed him.
Yeah, it's kind of rough at times when you just kind of get pulled apart for too long. I think after the push got dismantled and then the 3rd base got delayed for quite a while, it really just allowed Trigger enough time to rebound from the Hellion Reaper and Cloak Banshee harass, and so just was able to find a solid position, then getting a really good engagement on that 3rd base with the flank coming in as well was really well done. ByuN just a bit too caught off guard in that particular moment. But this time we'll be just kind of going back to a more standard Marine first expand build, it looks like, off of the 1 gas, so nothing too
Clearly,
crazy
Tasus
here,
needs an
trying
intern to make him a drink.
get into
That's
this
what State is for. What do you mean?
Building placement messed up.
State isn't
Probe
casting.
going
He can,
around with the gas.
he can make some drinks back. He can make it.
Yeah.
I believe.
I was not looking at that.
I don't know. There was a probe that was like, oh, I see. Okay, he just pulled
it
that.
out,
Okay, I thought.
So ranks expand, economic opener out of ByuN, meanwhile standard
See, one
opener
of
out
the
of
worst
Trigger.
things, right when you start StarCraft, you're like, oh, if I make a building here, I'd like lose money. Okay, like that's. Anyways, we've got a 3rd CC, or sorry, 2nd CC here in the main base, and I would not be shocked if we just have a Twilight Council into Robo into War Prism, like the same stuff we've had before.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting this time as well. This series, Trigger has not gone for the fast sentry, I think, in any of the games, which is, again, the flavor of the patch, essentially, going for these fast sentry hallucinate builds. Okay, there it is. Nice. So yeah, we have not seen it until just now. So
Let's
finally
go.
going into that style to get the dedicated scout. Did not see the CC on the low ground, so really wants to know what's happening in the main base here, since ByuN is trying to hide it in the main, essentially to feign some sort of very early aggression.
I should also remind as well that we have seen a lot of mech recently in TvP. That is not the case with ByuN. ByuN, he has been avoiding mech in this matchup. It's been more so embraced by the other Terran players out there like Clem, like Maru, like Cure. Not ByuN though. ByuN's been playing more so bio-oriented.
Popping out here for ByuN, as we're going to see the finishing up of the 1-1-1 here. It's been fun casting Trigger's games, by the way. He's for me like the kind of the newest player because I cast a lot of the same players, especially like GSL and everything. But yeah, it's cool to have these younger, fresh players out here and kind of see what they've got, see how viable they are. Charge is coming out here with the second gateway, or 2 more gateways, excuse me.
Yeah, the Charge first is cool. I think he's doing it just because he saw that it was a fast tech lab into the cycle.
It's like it's been around since like the beginning of COVID. It's like, yeah, fresh faces. True.
General beefy army engagement.
Oh, charge opener. Okay.
From the Blink having fast charge versus some of that.
This is different. So we're going for extra gateways, going for charge. Basically, if ByuN goes for an early timing, Trigger will completely shut him down.
It's not really going to be an early tank play, so we'll see if Trigger is able to still find value with this early charge, because then, again, having Blink much later against Widowmine drop, against Raven harass, makes it pretty awkward to defend against, so we'll see if that ends up coming into play.
Okay, scouting hallucinated Phoenix. Just to see.
Basically, what Gemini was getting into here is that Blink-based openers are very safe against drop play and against harassment options, or a little bit less so against these main all-ins and these main pushes. If ByuN was going and setting up for an early move out for an early push, then he'd be shut down by charge, but defending against Widowmine drops and Banshees is more difficult as you have delayed Blink.
Defended too well, and then they were able to react in time, then they just leave, and then you just don't actually end up killing any of the units. And
that's a good point.
That's also annoying, especially if they end up just darting it into the dead space behind the main base or something.
Right.
You always have to leave stuff there to account for. So if you can kind of like bait them in to at least drop something, and then you go and respond with the units in position, it still ends up being pretty okay for yourself, I think.
Ooh, rushing into Storm.
So yeah, I mean the Widowmine drop.
I mean, this makes sense after a charge-based opener.
You traded that out for the Widowmine.
So no Colossus this time.
Templar Archives coming here. So this is actually like what Classic was doing, which is basically you just rush into Storm and then you kind of just blob out on the map. You kind of just continue to try to grow in everywhere, and then you try to get your second and your third set of splash damage.
Yeah, this is a good scout from the Observer to see this army moving across the map as well from ByuN, as that is going to be the follow-up. Supply blocked for just a moment there as well will delay some of that, but I like the Hallucinated Phoenix also scouting that medevac over on the right side, making sure that's not coming in at any awkward time. So Trigger's really fully aware of the play that ByuN is setting up here with the forward attack and the medevac on the right-hand side at the same time. Does he have everything to be able to defend against, though, is the question.
Not coming
he does
in.
have charge, so this ended up being the correct play since ByuN did go for one of these tank pushes after the Widowmine drop. So the charge will allow him a decent engagement, but the Widowmine drop coming in at the exact same time, perfect reaction again. Trigger's been so on point with those, but then the engagement happening at the same time as well, jumping on the position and completely dislodging it.
That was insane. It's like, oh, never in a million years was that push going to work.
No.
Does Protoss just like aim move across the map now?
Yep.
Honestly.
I mean, I guess that's what's going to happen. He's like, all right.
As Gemini was alluding to, this is what Trigger wanted. He wanted ByuN to go for a tank push, and ByuN went for it. He went for a tank push into charge, and charge completely shuts that down. When you go for a charge-based opener, you want your opponent to be pushing into you, and again, ByuN, he went for the bait.
I think the bunker alone
went for the bait.
Makes you uncomfortable enough to not try to move in here. But yeah, I mean, ByuN's in trouble here. You know, he's just started his third command center, so his whole attempt to kind of close the game out completely blew up in his face.
Yeah, that just is not the situation that ByuN was looking for coming into this. I mean, he really was hoping for at least something to do any amount of damage, whether it be the Widowmine getting a nice hit in the main, or the forward drop or the forward position actually working out.
Widowmine is going to be cleaned up.
Both get completely blocked. Trigger is extremely on point, but now the
Banshees across the map though.
Will try to find some damage. Maybe this is where all the damage was going to be had, as it does get 6 probes and will run into the natural to try and get a few more, but will be back deflected by some of those stalkers, and even jumped on, potentially losing one of them is not great. Was that actually? Can you? Yeah, I think that is possible to just hide that in.
Yeah, you can keep that there. They can't get there. So Psystorm's about to finish up. And, I mean, things are looking very smooth right now for Trigger. ByuN's not dead. Oh, no, never mind.
Getting both Banshees.
Unlucky. I was going to say, I feel like I've tried to keep Oracles back there in PvZ sometimes, and I do not keep them alive. So I was like, wow, wait, can I actually keep them there?
So this is a really rough setup for ByuN. ByuN, he failed when it came to the early push. He just lost his harassing Banshees. He lost the Widowmine as well, which means Trigger has now gained map control.
I think that Protoss is basically going to wait for Terran to take a third base and then attack it.
Oh, that's so unlucky that this Stalker was trying to hunt the other medevac and just barely doesn't scout the other two that are now getting sent across the map. Will Trigger be prepared for this?
There's potential with the drop play.
Really have an observer in
There's a lot of pressure on ByuN's drops to get some damage done. Like, ByuN has to do something here to recover, to allow himself to expand, to allow himself to build up in this game.
If he's a bit out of position, he should have a recall prepared. I don't think he's used any of this game yet, so he will be able to respond in that way if needed. But there's really nothing else besides the drop happening at this current point anyways, and he does see that with the forward observer as well, so I think he should be feeling pretty comfortable to defend this once he does actually see the drops coming into his main.
Okay. We are just waiting. Protoss continues to grow. The Forge just finished up. And, you know, Trigger's just using this War Prism to basically...
Ideally, Trigger wants to wait for a distraction, as he does actually find some SCVs. Oh, going for the Storm Drop.
Nice Storm Drop.
That would have been so good if he could have gotten them all clumped up right there.
Yeah.
That was very nice reaction from ByuN.
Well, I mean, Storm Dropping's great. You know, over time, you can just kind of melt their workers down. And, you know, I don't think there's a lot that Trigger has to do right now. You know, I think he basically just continues to tack in here. He's getting his Colossuses now with Thermal Lance. He's getting to that kind of death ball where there's, you know, almost nothing you can do against it as Terran.
Well, what they're getting into here is the fact that we are on Tokamak. We spoke about this at the start of the game, but we are on a map that is known for defensive play, so Trigger, in all intents and purposes, he can just chill on 4 bases. He can just chill and max out.
You do have to cut something, and that is the upgrade. So he is going to be a little bit behind on that. Luckily for him, ByuN didn't quite start his 2-2 super fast either, but regardless, he's still going to be much ahead in that regard. So Trigger will need to make sure he doesn't kind of just lose out on the overall unit scaling, but the splash is, of course, what is going to be doing the big brunt of the damage, essentially, in these engagements.
Right. It's been a very quiet game outside of that Storm Drop here. You know, since that push failed, ByuN has basically just gone back and played single player here.
I mean, he has to.
But, you know, we're getting to the point where both armies are going to be maxing out, and that should be when, you know, the punches start to be thrown here. Terran just continuing to scan here and kind of monitor the pacing at which Trigger's growing. Trigger's now getting into a 5th base.
Yeah, he's definitely putting himself pretty nicely into a longer game. I'm very curious why ByuN is kind of sitting with that drop for so long. I mean, he set that up for like forever ago at this point. Obviously, he's waiting for the most opportune moment when he knows that Trigger is out on the map, but I'm just surprised that he set it up that early. I feel like that's a pretty big gamble if he just kind of gets attacked at any point in time before that. It's like, well, now that's just half your army that's just sitting on the other side of the map, which I guess he would then just, you know, boost into the main and attempt a pseudo base race style thing. But regardless, it's just been sitting there this whole time, is still yet to do anything. I mean, Trigger is out on the map at this point, so maybe now is
I would argue it's a good thing. Like he's got that supply there. He's ready for that opportune moment, ready for Trigger to come into a fight. Once he does, then ByuN should actually boost into the main or the 3rd.
Okay, Trigger's moving down now. He wants to hit the 6 o'clock spot.
Okay, both armies are maxed.
This is a maxed out Protoss army versus a maxed out Terran army. The question is, how will ByuN deal with the splash?
Show CMPs.
Stim comes in. He's going to try to shimmy the Colossus over to the front.
Ooh.
And he's got the Immortals over here in the front as well. The whole formation's
There's
looking pretty
2 Templar
good.
left. Ooh, nice Storm!
Storm is ridiculous on that Bio army. The dance was pretty good from ByuN up until that point, but Trigger also doing a great job of keeping his Colossi back. Now ByuN going in with the drop, waiting with that for so long. Another EMP going off onto those Templar, but
Not
the
bad.
Vikings honestly getting splashed
Storm.
by the Archons and some reinforcing Templars.
Yeah, too many Storms coming in.
Back, and that base does get killed off, but on the back end, this 3rd is also looking like it's going to get sniped. But the question is, can ByuN even hold this army? Because it's just looking
but there's still
ridiculous.
more Templar. Yeah, there's still more Templar in the back line.
Here. I mean, I don't know that the Protoss
Storms are coming in.
Stopped right now. He is just rampaging through this base. Now, getting the kill on that Nexus is huge.
Can he break through? He's pushing in.
Is that if
show us the main fight. Show us the main fight. No, the Storm.
Here, the whole game's going to end and Terran's going to lose.
Yeah, no, that is a great engagement coming in from Trigger.
Lands
He
a
wasn't
Storm.
really paying attention on the Templar back
No
at all,
Vikings.
because he
No
was
Vikings, no anti-air. The Colossus, they just rain down on the army, and Trigger, he's done it.
In the late game, I've seen him do this before with mixed success, but this time it looks like it's working very well to have a really solid backbone to the army.
Gets
we'll
one of the Colossus pistol too.
Slowly kill off some of these units as the units come back from the
Nice
top.
around. Okay.
Unexpected flank coming in from ByuN, losing 46 workers, but will clean up the army. Is this actually enough? I feel like this is going to just be a rinse and repeat for Trigger because that is massive economic damage.
I mean, 46 workers were killed in that. So right now it's 71 probes mining for Trigger. It's 35 for ByuN. So make no mistake, ByuN is in terrible shape. I mean, he survives the attack. He needs to counterattack because if he doesn't get any value here, I mean, Trigger is going to balloon up into 200 supply again and just come in here and smash him. But I don't know, man. This is going to be a real Hail Mary play.
The armies are about to clash.
For ByuN.
Yeah, he's really putting all of his cards in this attack. Everything is being rallied across the map.
As they're pointing out, ByuN's basically all in. Like, ByuN, he's all in. He has to do damage with this. He has to break an expansion. He has to break an army. He has to break something.
Stimmed Marauders to try and poke up at this Colossus. You can see this ridiculous Prism Micro up until the point where he doesn't do it, but that's okay. Was keeping it alive for quite a while at that point, but the Storms are able to kind of bail him out at that point. And yeah, so ByuN obviously at such a terrible economic position, but he still does have one of those bases. Is that actually being remade, or is that? I think that's actually on position. So Mules will be able to still keep him alive for now economically with some of these SCVs coming back in. So his army still looks pretty threatening overall. It's still large in size. So Trigger still has to kind of respect this. He can't just assume that he's going to walk over the game after killing all those SCVs.
Second Robo here coming down. ByuN has, remade some of those workers. He's still very, very low. 46 is painful. Obviously, Terran has mules, so they can get some extra money that way. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think Trigger's maxed out now, so it would make sense for him to try to move.
It's one of those things where Trigger, he should just be backing off, remaxing, attacking again, trading out against workers, trading out against the army, and then just keep going, just keep going, just keep trading, keep remaxing, and just never allow ByuN to recover.
Making sure you don't just
that should be the plan.
Storms to a big EMP. It's not the easiest thing in the world, as maybe some Terran players would like to disagree, but there's the Storm onto the Fat Army as well. Nice EMP onto that. Trying to go for a
Prism goes down.
Drop on the right side. That was a bit ambitious from Trigger. Nothing really to happen there, but nice micro overall
he's
from
holding.
ByuN to keep
We
this
spoke about
army
it. It is still difficult to break a defending player here on Tokamak.
At this point, his army, like I said, still very large, and since he lost so many SCVs prior, now his army is much larger in size. He's able to fill this out with a larger army, doesn't have as many SCVs taking up his overall supply count, so that will still be very threatening as the EMPs continue to go on this army. And now the engagement is looking pretty decent for ByuN, as all of the Colossi, all of the Templar are getting killed, but now the Zealots are the main threat on the ground.
Oh, my god.
Just clips off that Marauder there at the end. I don't know, that went pretty poorly actually for Trigger. I think ByuN might be able to fight back, and I don't know that this army can actually get away.
Yeah, he's going to try to go for the chase at this point.
As I mentioned, Trigger, he overextended, he lost the War Prism, he lost the Colossus, he needs Disruptors, he needs Storm.
This ramp as well, free pickoffs for ByuN.
He needs to spend his money.
Steamrolling across the map to try and capitalize on that incredible engagement. Really, you kind of just saw how much larger the army was from ByuN, but now Trigger trying to, again, jump on this, using another Disruptor Shop, getting a few units here and there, and the Vikings just getting left to nothing on the right-hand side will be a bit useless at this point. And ByuN is starting to lose a little bit of steam. These medevacs are also super low on energy. He needs to be very careful about these follow-up engages.
So we've seen this before. The Viking count just got reset. Now we see Trigger doing what? Colossus. Colossus are being rebuilt. There is zero anti-air. Sorry, I should say there's one Viking. There's one Viking here for ByuN.
This army lacks this
very low Viking count.
You don't have the Colossi with it yet. I don't see Templars with this either, although you can probably pocket that in a Warp Prism. But ByuN is surviving. Trigger maxes out again. ByuN here at 154 supply. He's back up to 50 workers now.
This is also looking very good for Trigger on the upgrades. I was saying earlier that he was quite behind in that regard and that ByuN had a good moment with that. But now, since he's forced ByuN into such a bad economic position, he's forced to use all of his resources on units. He's had to skip his 3-3 upgrades until just now, and even that, he's only getting his +3 attack, not armor. So now Trigger's gotten the 3-3 finish. That's going to be really good for him in these engagements. But this is kind of similar to that last series they played in the groups, because it was really Trigger not able to get solid engagements over and over again. This time, oh my god, a nice last-second pickup to make sure they dodge those units. But unfortunately, that last Disruptor Shot does finally get a connection, as the rest of the units coming from the top side getting jumped on by Trigger. And like I was saying before, the engagements aren't really super efficient from Trigger. He's bleeding out units here and there. He's getting a lot of EMPs onto his army. This is very similar to that one crazy game they had in the first group stage where really Trigger just had the whole map, but took forever to actually close it because the engages kept just going ByuN's way with the efficiency.
I would disagree with the tail end of this, just because over the past 2 fights, Trigger has been out-trading ByuN. Like, he has been out-trading him. And again, Trigger has a better economy, so he can afford to be inefficient anyway. And right now, do you see how many Vikings? How many Vikings, Pappy? 0. The Colossus are here.
Baiting out these disruptor shots.
Trigger, he can just push in.
Time, making sure they don't find any actual good connections. How many storms do we have? It looks like only maybe 2 or 3 in this fight, so 1 EMP could knock all of that out.
Viking production has begun.
Completely non-existent though, so the Colossus switch back is very nice from Trigger. Good splits as well from ByuN to make sure these disruptors don't hit. They've not really been finding too much damage overall until just now, again, getting a nice ghost and a couple marauders. Those
only
are
3
really
ghosts left, barely any EMPs. As you mentioned, like Trigger, he has been trading very well these past couple of fights, and he's been sniping so many ghosts, and ByuN can't afford to replace them.
All about this 4th base. So basically, this entire game comes down to if ByuN can keep the Protoss off of his back. If Trigger wins 1 fight, he's going to kill the base, and he's going to win the game. And Trigger is, by the way, massive on the map. There's so many bases.
Oh, that disruptor shot.
Oh my god, that was so clutch.
Before they can actually land. ByuN, nice on the target fire, able to deny that. But now the SCV is getting massacred yet again on the back line. 50 of them died earlier, 14 of them dying now, as ByuN is trying to push the issue, realizing that the army is a bit spent with all those disruptors and Templar getting killed off. But he's losing bases all over the place at this point as Trigger continues to expand to the top left of the map.
I mean, ByuN is barely alive right now. I gotta say, that was just brutal what Trigger did. He just he had this small counterattack, and he just like kept taking only convenient fights as he retreated. Because he's like, all right, well, this is just getting me further ahead at this point in time. And eventually he's going to pull this army back here where he has to defend. Again,
yeah, ByuN is getting forced back home. ByuN is down to a 1 base economy.
In the game right now.
Yeah,
1 base.
Wild. He's really just on absolute nothing at this point. Look at the income grab for Trigger. That is just ridiculous. Has been completely outmassing. Walking through that storm as well from ByuN. Unfortunately losing a lot there, and he's just going to realize it's a lost cause. Trigger will 3-1 ByuN, repeating his success from the groups.
Doing a little trigonometry back there.
Whoa, ooh, that was a sick joke.
How long was he holding on to that one?
Great series. ByuN unable to kind of keep up there. Trigger, in some ways, making it look very easy. You know, for me, that's my favorite approach from the Protoss is the 2 base into Storm, into getting Colossus later, into getting disruptors, and it's kind of like, I don't know, you figure out how to kill me. You know what I mean?
This is your problem.
This is your problem. I'm gonna be back here defending.
So they're kind of glossing over it. As a reminder, GG well played. Trigger, he did go for a charge base opener this game, and we spoke about it. We tried to emphasize it. Going for charge, you're heavily reliant, as a Protoss player, you're heavily reliant that a Terran player is going to be pushing into you with a tank-based move out. And ByuN went for it. ByuN, he went for his tank push at the 3rd base, if you remember, and Trigger, I'm sure he was like, whew, thank God, because he did exactly what he was hoping for. He shut down the tank push. He gained momentum early on. He was able to contain his opponent. He shut down the early aggression. The Banshees, remember, was shut down. They did not get enough damage. So really shaky early game out of ByuN, losing his harassment, his mind drops, his Banshees, and the tank push as well. So early on, Trigger took a lead. Trigger, he gained momentum and took a lead early on, and he never lost it. This is a very momentum-based matchup. We speak about this all the time at TvP. If you get a lead early on, it is difficult to lose that lead. It's difficult to recover after taking some early game damage in this matchup. It goes both ways for both Protoss and for Terran. It is definitely one of the things that a lot of players are vocal about as well, about how unforgiving TvP can be, 100%. And we saw that from then. I mean, again, ByuN, he had lost map control, he was behind, he was trying to recover, struggling to do so, and we saw that Trigger was going to be the first to max out, the first to trade, and he ensured that ByuN was never able to really keep up economically, army-wise, in any which way against Trigger. GG well played. Thankfully, Trigger wasn't too passive. If he was too passive, if he was a little bit too focused on his own economy or his own tech, then ByuN might have been able to recover. But Trigger, he was very aggressive, very active. As soon as he had the army, he was very in the face of ByuN. GG well played. Congratulations, ByuN, he's out. ByuN is out of the tournament, and Trigger is going to continue his road into the next round, into the next set of matches, which will be, I believe, tomorrow.
There's one we're looking at right now. I'm not going to say where, because we might look at another one and change our minds. All right, we're kind of making these venues all kind of fight for us here. But we'll have those dates, so if you want to buy a ticket and fly in, you can see it if you're living in Korea. Yeah, come on down.
As they're pointing out, of course, we have 3 seasons of RSL, and we have the offline finals.
Because I think a lot of people, they watch live StarCraft out here, and it's always, you know, they make you wear headsets at GSL to hear me.
They give you the little radio.
Not anymore, nation of Korea.
The foreigners have taken over.
That's right, the foreigners are here. No, it'll be broadcast in English. That'll be cool. I think it might be the first event we've ever done that for in Korea. It just occurred to me when I was in the venue. I'm like, oh, we could just pipe out the English.
Yeah. Super sick.
Anyways, guys, we are sponsored by Archon Studio. They're the official partner of the RSL. They're making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. You want this. When
it comes to the rest of us here on the CranKy Ducklings, we just wrapped up. We just wrapped up with our initial broadcast of the day. But when it comes to the rest of our schedule, bam, I got you covered. Here we have the rest of our schedule. We're here on Saturday. Saturday, we just wrapped up with RSL, and we're going to be going live with Maestros of the Game. That is going to be in 1 hour. In 1 hour, we're going to be live once again with, this time we're going to be observing ourselves. This time we're going to be in the games themselves, and we're going to be covering Maestros of the Game. Who is playing tonight? That is a good question. I believe tonight is going to be 4 best of 5s. An actual broadcast. 4 best of 5s, not 2. It's going to be Showtime versus Classic, Clem versus Hero, Cyril versus Bunny, and Rainer versus Zaun. It's going to be an intense bracket. Intense matches are going to be ahead of us here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll hold off on talking about those series until we get into it, of course. So again, do consider tuning in 1 hour's time. Again, we're going to be covering that in English, of course, here on the CranKy Ducklings. Tomorrow's going to be the same. Tomorrow's going to be more RSL into Maestros of the Game. That is the plan. That is the plan here for this week. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thank you so much for watching. You can support us via Patreon. You can support the RSL via Patreon as well. We do plan on co-streaming the entirety of the playoff bracket of RSL. So for every playoff day, we should be there to cast or to co-stream in English. We'll be there. We'll be there for the RSL. Otherwise, I'm going to go quickly freshen up. And get ready for tonight's broadcast of Maestros of the Game. The stream is going to be going down, and we'll be back in an hour. We will be back in an hour's time. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I would raid Trigger. I know Trigger, he's live right now playing Osu, but tell him to ladder. Tell him to... God damn it. Who else is live at the moment? Let's have a look. Let us have a look here. El Chanchito? Piggy's still in Europe. Okay, for those who don't know, Pig, he went to Europe for Wardy's wedding, but it looks like he's still there. We'll give him some love. Yeah, we'll give him some love. Este Chanchito. We'll give him some love. So thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys in an hour's time for Maestros of the Game. See you soon, Papi. See you soon.